Get your clients now. I know a lot of people do Social Security. They bring people in to talk about Social Security. They talk about Medicare. So people pay for leads. That's another way. This is free, you guys. If we can get, like I said, a big assisted living, we'll do a presentation for you guys. Bring in the clients. You as the advisor would be the one closing the deals. Okay? Do you understand this? Okay. So this is for clients, for veterans, surviving spouses. This presentation, the one that he just went through. Okay. All right. So a little bit about myself. Matt just told you. 16 years of respiratory care practitioner for Kaiser. So I got to see how patients came in and out. And what I was able to do was talk to the administrators of hospitals and let them know, hey, let me show you how we can save money for you guys. And a way to save money was a patient goes to the ER, right there they discharge them to go home. In fact, we have LV here, she's a RN, case manager, home health. So with her, Kaiser. With her, she would go and visit them at home for what, 3 weeks, LV? To make sure that they still have the care. After that, they're on their own. Where do we come in if they're a veteran or a surviving spouse of a veteran? We come in to get that extra money for them so they can afford at least some type of home care at home, because that's what they're gonna need. We get that in place, yeah, they might not end up in the ER because now they're getting the medications that they're supposed to be getting. They're getting the type of care that they're still needing, maybe help with bathing, they're not falling. So it prevents the ER frequent flyers, okay? That's what I was able to present to a lot of the hospital administrators. And yes, now they get me in front of the social workers at their facility, at the hospital, and we're able to talk about the benefit, that benefit that Matt just talked about. So anytime these social workers now are discharging their patients, guess what? The big question that they ask is, are you a veteran or surviving spouse? If you are, call these people, they'll help you get the benefit, okay? So that's where we come in. So I've been doing this 24 years, and everything that I do, you guys, I broke this book down, Veterans Manual Benefit, back in 2005 with a few attorneys. And I said, listen, let's break this down. I want to know in English, because everything here was just foreign to me. You can get this book at any Veteran Service Office county in your area. It has a lot of information about the aid and attendance benefit, which is what Matt just talked about. There's information on the compensations, a lot of information about DIC. It's in that little book, okay? And then the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Medicaid handbook, Medi-Cal, on asset protection. What do we do? I'll give you an example. What do we do if now mom ends up in a nursing home, okay? Because Medicare only pays, what, 100 days? At most 20 days is what I'm finding out. How much will it cost them now that they have to stay there? About $12,000 here in LA. They're gonna make them use up their assets. It's called a spend down. Spend that money down towards the $12,000 cost of a nursing home. What I'm gonna teach you today is not to spend it down, how to protect that so it goes to their kids down the road, is what they want, okay? I'm gonna show you how Medi-Cal is gonna be able to pick that up. Okay, so I'm gonna condense the 24 years that I put together, okay? What not to do, what to do, how to get around it. I condensed it into this. I think you guys are the third group that I've ever given this presentation to. I've always kept this to myself because it was so good. I'm like, I'm not gonna let anybody know. I want them to go to me and I'll help them out. But yeah, it's time for me to give it to you guys, because pretty soon I'll probably call it quits and just be a consultant, okay? So this is it right here. There's gonna be questions. U.S. agents, how do I make money doing this? Okay, that's the big question. And what I'm going to teach you guys is don't worry about the money, how you're going to make the money. I want you guys to help out the family. Okay? It's a concept of how am I going to fix how am I going to fix their problem, because they're worried about running out of money. How am I going to pay for this assisted living? How am I going to pay for boarding care? How am I going to pay for home care? How am I going to pay for nursing home care is the big one. So always concentrate on fixing the problem. The money's going to come later. Okay? I'm going to put you on the spot, Matt. The one that you just went to, where's that? Huh? Yeah, Bay Area.
Yeah, Pascadero.
So tell me a little bit about that real quick.
All right, so with Pascadero, like I said, the uncle has dementia. He pretty much already has somewhat of compensation. Actually, he does have compensation with everything. Can't pretty much help him out with aid and attendance because he's already at 100% disabled. So I was like, all right, well, let's look at this. Let's talk about everything. What do you want to do? He needs help because he's constantly trying to get the keys to his truck, trying to go drive around, do whatever, just go outside, but he'll forget where he's at all the time and whatnot. So they had to hide the keys, and of course that's going to get him start to be upset. So they needed to get him into an assisted living. The people who referred me over to him, they don't work where the people wanted to actually put them. They looked up in Clear Lake on the North Bay area. They only did like around Petaluma, stuff like that, San Jose. So of course, hey, I gotta do what's best for him. Thank you for referring me, but I'm letting you know this isn't gonna work out the way that you want it to. So referred him over to somebody else. They ended up finding a place that matches his weaknesses, their strengths. Everything's good. They just literally moved him over there. What are they doing now? They're selling his house. Out in the middle of the woods, the place looks like Jurassic Park. This house is gonna sell for about $1 million. Like he already has whatever over in savings and stuff like that, but not enough. So he's subsidizing the cost with this assisted living that he's in right now. And so with the $1 million that's actually gonna be sold from there, doing all the math, all right, what's his income? How much is he paying here? This is how much he's paying out of pocket. Now with this $1 million, how long can he last over here in this place? Is he going to outlive his assets? Yes, no. He should be good to go for the rest of his life. But now what are you gonna do with this money while it's just sitting there? I want you to make money in your sleep. Hey, let's help invest you with this. And they are totally on board with it. So doing all the math, out of this $1 million, I'm probably gonna end up moving about $750,000 for them to go over and invest, and then they can pull out, you know, once we learn about annuities and everything else, you can pull out to 10% a year without getting penalized if you need to. But he's gonna be set for the rest of his life. And if they see us making them money, hey, now word of mouth goes around, they're gonna start helping, referring us over to other people as well. And trying to take care of their assets later on. We just did that with San Jose. We helped out somebody's sister. Actually, he helped out somebody who worked at a dentistry office. They referred us over to this couple who's taking care of their sister who had dementia, I think.
Yeah.
And so he started working with that, and they're like, hey, can you take a look at our finances? Sure. So he ended up, I think, moving over $1 million for the sister, and I ended up doing about $400,000 for them. It's just word of mouth. You take care of the people, and everything goes around from there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
Is there a look back? Because you said.
Yeah, we're gonna go over that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Aid and attendance,
Yeah.
does it cover for custodial care?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for custodial care, just to answer LV's question, custodial care usually is a long-term care nursing home now.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want the aid and attendance, or do we want Medi-Cal to pay for that? We want Medi-Cal to pay for that because Medi-Cal's gonna pick up thousands of dollars for that care. Okay, so we're gonna go over that. So yeah, we have a team of attorneys, CPAs, nurses. We got them all, you guys. We have placement agencies, people that help place people from hospital to a boarding care or assisted living. So that just proves to you what I just said. Take care of the people. Even though Matt knew that there was no money, he went to visit, and now he's putting a plan in place where, yeah, the uncle can no longer live there. What are they gonna do with the house? There you go. That's how he did it. So always fix the problem. It's the concept of fixing the problem. Don't worry about the money, it'll come.
Mind you, I drive 4 hours through traffic from Sacramento over to there just to get to them. And then
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
4 hours back, and I do this every time.
Yeah. Some we make money, some we don't. But guess what? That one that we helped out in Pasadena, the sister before that
Yeah.
didn't have any money, and I helped them with their VA. What did you move from that sister that she referred to us?
The sister, I believe we did $1 million over into annuities and then another 500,000 into life settlements.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because what happens is they say, hey, can you take a look at our plan? Can you look at our finances? So this thing is a door opener, you guys. Okay, you're just getting in the door talking about VA benefits. Next thing you know, you're talking about putting a plan in place because they don't have a plan. Okay. Yeah. So we covered how can we make money. Yeah, you'll make money. Just take care of the client first. And we're gonna help you with each client. If you guys have any questions and say, hey, I have this client, age, diagnosis, they need to go here. This is what their income, this is what their assets are. We're gonna help you with that. Okay, so the average veteran, usually what I'm seeing is they have at least 400,000. They might not have any savings, but they have a house that they're gonna need to sell. And you get paid helping reposition their assets to get their benefits, okay? And then I'm gonna put Sean on the spot right here if you don't mind. We just talked to a client on the phone. Jessica?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for her grandma, right? Yeah. Grandma can no longer stay at home, so she's putting her into an assisted living. Grandma's a surviving spouse of a veteran, right? Or no? Okay, so what she's worried about is, I'm worried about, hey, if I go to the next level, which is a nursing home, custodial care, how do we protect this money? So that's what we talked to her about. She's gonna sell her home, right? And then structure the money under either Jessica or the irrevocable trust. And then Sean's gonna be able to do what he needs to do with that fund.
But Tanya and Julius is a vet. His wife has dementia right now.
Yeah.
So that's another.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, that's that. So 4 things to consider. I'm kind of going over what Matt kind of went over with the clients when he talks to the clients. This is what I go over when I'm talking to the agents. Again, eligibility qualifications. It's in you can write on those handbooks that I gave you. So that, yeah, that's something for you guys to keep and write on so that you. So here's the qualifications. Military, at least 90 days active duty, 1 day during a conflict era. Discharge other than dishonorable. It cannot be dishonorable. It could be a medical discharge, it could be any other discharge, but not dishonorable. Again, the medical needs, they need 2 activities of daily living to trigger this benefit. Another big one is MCI, mild cognitive impairment or dementia will pretty much trigger this. Legally blind. They're legally blind, you guys. It's an automatic. They don't have to trigger any of these other ADLs. Legally blind is going to trigger that. Okay. Then we take a look at their income, Social Security or pension together. We compare that to what they call unreimbursed medical expense, UME. UME is what they're paying for in-home care. What are they paying at a boarding care? What are they paying at an assisted living? Or what are they paying at a nursing home? So for example, if their income is $3,000, but they're paying $3,500 to an assisted living, that zeroes out their income, okay? Once they zero out their income, they're gonna get that benefit. If you guys have this, it's in that packet. It's the amount of benefits that the veterans or surviving gets. So Once they zero out their income, they're gonna get that amount of pension. And it's tax-free every month, every year is tax-free. There's no 1099 on that. Okay, so here's the example I just talked about. Income's $3,000 from Social Security and pension. The unreimbursed medical expense, that's what they're paying for care. That zeroes out their income, they're gonna get the full amount, okay? Let's say it's reversed. Let's say it's $3,100 income, but $3,000 expense. They're gonna get $100 less from the pension, okay? But most of the time, they're zeroing out their income, you guys. In-home care, out here is $35-40 an hour, okay? So, you guys hot or you guys good? Want me to turn on the AC a little bit? Or down?
Very good.
You're good? Okay. They're good, Patrick. Patrick was over there sweating using his towel. Yeah. Now, assets, just like Matt said, they don't want no more than $150,000 liquid, okay? A house is exempt, but as far as cash, mutual funds, stocks, they're all CDs, it's countable. What can we do with anything above the 150? Assets can be gifted, okay? Gifted to who? We can gift it to a family member if they wanted to, or we can gift it into an irrevocable trust that's created. Okay, there's your 36-month penalty for gifting. That's the look back period that you're asking about?
3 years.
Yeah, it's 3 years for VA. Okay, so if you gifted money today, they gotta wait 3 years before they can get this benefit. So is it best to pre-plan, to say, hey, let's set this up now because you might need care down the road. At that time, after 36 months, we can get the benefit. And when we gift it out, we gotta follow the VA guideline rules. And also this guy right here, this is the big one. We don't wanna disqualify them for Medi-Cal if they end up in a nursing home in California. Medicaid for you guys in Vegas, okay? So what we have to do is, hey, we're gonna gift it out, this is what you want, then let's follow both regulations, okay? The non-countable assets are a home, it's exempt, automobiles and their personal belongings. Here are all the countable assets that they look at. Like I said, cash, saving, bonds, T-bills, homes, rental homes, not the principal home. Money market, mutual funds, stocks. VA looks at IRAs. Medi-Cal doesn't count IRAs. So I'm gonna go over Medi-Cal after the VA. So all assets that's countable, all these assets, for them to qualify, we gotta gift it out. They cannot have it in their name, okay? Gift it out to an irrevocable trust, gift it out to, if they only have one child, I'll usually use that child. They're gonna get it anyway. Okay, so they have these assets. A house, are you gonna wanna rent it out, or are you gonna sell it, or are you just gonna keep it vacant? If they're gonna rent it out, they have to get it out of their name, or put it in an irrevocable trust. Because once you rent it out, I had a client here in Thousand Oaks. We did a presentation in assisted living, and a few months later, well, at that facility in Thousand Oaks, I don't know if it was your facility there, Angel. Yeah. She stood up and she said, she was a niece. She said, yeah, I'm getting, this is for real because I'm already getting it for my aunt. And she just stood up because we were talking about the VA benefit. Anyways, a few months later, she calls up and she said, Alex, I got a letter from the VA. They're no longer, she's denied now. I said, what did you do different? she said we rented out the house. So once you rent out the house, that disqualifies the veteran or surviving spouse, because now they look at the house, they look at the, what do you call it? Well, they count the house now as an asset because it's a rental. So that put them over the 150, okay? If you sell the home, what we'll do is we'll submit the VA case first, get them the benefit. Then you can put the house into the irrevocable trust. They will no longer count it. So that will be the money that you guys can reposition. So here's the VA case. Dad's 85, he's got dementia, he's been falling, needs a walker. And Hunter, I think this might be your grandma that we're gonna talk about down the road. Same case, okay? There's one error. This is what they have. Income. There was an annuity, Social Security, their total income's $1,800, okay? Here's their assets. A home was exempt. They count these assets for qualification. Now, I put these together years ago, you guys, and I have an updated version now of today's rules, but I'll cover that at the end. This is what they're paying the assisted living, okay? So their income is zeroed out by the assisted living. That's a qualification. Military-wise, I already checked his DD 214. He's good to go. That's his military record. Medically, he's got all these issues right here. 2 ADLs we trigger. Now we're looking at the income versus expense. That's zeroed out. The only issue at that time was they were over asset. At that time, I think the asset limit was 82,000. Okay. So once we get that information, then we can talk about how we're going to be able to qualify. So they had a home, 247,000. Are you going to sell it? Are you going to rent it? Are you going to keep it? Okay, those are the things. I think I have it down in there for you guys already. So this is pre-VA planning. This is the information that we need to figure out how we're gonna get them the extra money. So that was their income right there, 1,800. This is their assets from the all these amounts of accountable assets. That's their assisted living cost. Their shortfall of 1,550. How are we gonna make this last? He's 80 plus years old. We want this to last. So this is what we did. With the VA benefit, we got them that extra 1,644 at that time. That was the benefit for a veteran. That was years ago. So now their new VA income, or their new income total is this. They're positive now of cash flow of $94. So what we were able to do is add this with the kid, the son, and we were able to play with the rest of that money. The money that was gifted into the kid, we put an annuity together, okay? Here's another case, Alice, same thing, dementia. They're all pretty much the same. Very young, 78. These guys are living in their mid-90s, you guys. So we gotta make sure that their money lasts. The husband's name, 81 years old. He had a stroke. They're both in the ALF, assisted living facility, if you guys are not familiar with that. That's an assisted living facility. What's an assisted living facility, Angel?
Well, it's a residential care facility that's licensed to be able to have residents in and kick in Their needs met. Yeah, it was a big living, they live there.
Yeah. So Angel was, you did a lot of,
You know, senior living community.
yeah,
everybody-
yeah. He worked for senior living communities, the big ones, for over 20 plus years. So I was just kind of messing with him here. Yeah. So here's their information on the married couple, case number 2. Yeah, income, Social Security, that's their total income. They had over 1.7 million in assets. This was liquid, that was a home. They inherited a lot of money, basically. So yeah, they were short. Here's the expense of the assisted living. That's their income, so they were short. Again, that's broken down. They're short $3,000 every month. Okay, because their expense was $6,500. By the time we got done with them, this is what we were able to do. The total assets, what we did, we gifted over 1.4 million in irrevocable trust, you guys. In the annuity, we put 800. We could have put a lot more, but that's what we decided to put. We kept this amount in the trust so that the powers or the trustees can help pay the difference. If their costs went up, they had a lot of money where we didn't have to touch this guy at all. Okay? We always try to play it safe. We don't want them coming short. And then at that, the rules today is the same. Their kids can be on the account with them, and if there's 3 owners, 2 sons, with Alice and Donald, that's 4 owners. So whatever we put at the bank, there's actually, the mom and the dad would own 50%, the other 2 kids would own the other 50. Okay? So that's, if you're talking about assets, that lowers it down.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So on that, how Alex was saying about putting 800,000 into there and that we could have put in more into there, greed is not the game. Do not ever get greedy. Why I'm saying this, what happens if they actually need the money to actually get into there? They have this irrevocable trust to dip into, but if they don't have that into there, they're like, hey, we want to pull the money out of this annuity, well, you're going to get penalized. But if they do it in 2 years, within that 2 years time of them put it in, what happens to your commission? You're going to ask for it right back. So if you actually got there, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go buy a car. Guess who's jumping out? So don't get greedy. Make sure it's going to be worth them. Set everything up for them on that basis.
And those are the things that we'll review and say, hey, have you looked at everything? We want to make sure that we're doing right for the clients, you guys. So this is what it looks like after we put this one together. Yeah, they're only short this amount of money now because we got the benefit. And we, like I said, we put that annuity together. We let them have $660,000, which was a lot. They never even really needed to touch that. And that was their expense. So, any questions on the VA stuff, you guys? No, pretty simple. Yeah. Yeah, you take care of these clients with the VA problem, the money's gonna come. Okay. Medi-Cal planning. I'm sorry. What do you guys know about Medi-Cal planning or Medicaid planning? No? Nothing? Okay, this is new to you guys? Okay. So Medi-Cal planning, like I said, we go by the book. With Medicare, it tells you what we can do. We can create an irrevocable trust if you wanted to protect your assets. And then there's this book called Taking Care of Tomorrow. It's out there, California. They'll tell you what we can do with these monies in the irrevocable trust. Okay, so everything we do is by the book.
Good.
So Medi-Cal planning, I came across this back in 2001, okay? I worked with a few attorneys that did Medi-Cal planning. They charged at that time were $24,000 just to put this together. Yeah. So I figured it out with the attorneys, and I used to be real good friends with the Fred Tam. He was the director of Medi-Cal in Sacramento. He basically put the regulations together. So I got to be good friends with him. We broke it down, said, hey, what can we do? Like, how do I maneuver these assets without any penalties? How do we get these people on Medi-Cal? Gosh, who was telling me the other day? A lot of families get mad when the social workers or case managers now say, hey, your mom's got to go to a nursing home. They're like, how are we going to pay for that? We thought Medicare was going to pay for this. No, they only pay up to 100 days. So we're going to go over some illustration of real life applications on Medi-Cal rules. We're going to review some regulations that they put out there. And the practices, techniques to avoid a spend down, you guys. Meaning that how do we avoid them spending $12,000 a month to a nursing home? Okay, I'm going to show you how to put that together. We're going to talk about exempt assets, unavailable assets, countable assets. Now I know we just went over the VA countable assets, non-countable assets. This is for Medi-Cal and Medicaid. It's different. Then we're gonna show you how to avoid the Medi-Cal recovery phase. So what that means is mom's been in nursing home, they've been paying, Medi-Cal's been paying for her care, okay? How do we avoid Medi-Cal going after the house, okay? Because they will recover if it's not set up correctly. And then we'll calculate their share of cost. What that means is instead of them paying $12,000 a month, it'll be a lot less. And we're gonna go over that. So a house is exempt just like the VA for Medi-Cal, the primary home. Business properties is also exempt, okay? Because usually business properties, they just look at the income from it. One car and all their personal belongings. A spouse's IRA is not counted for Medi-Cal eligibility. So they can have $1 million in their IRA and they can keep it. So when they allow you to look at their statements like this, guess what? It's fair game now that you guys can kind of say, hey, you've taken a loss in your with Wells Fargo advisors, right, Matt? That's the one that we saw in Pasadena. She lost $500,000 in 3 quarters, and she didn't even know about it. So
And she paid $6,000 a year for them to lose.
yeah, so she allowed us to put that together for her. Okay. Term insurance, they don't care. Whole life insurance only up to $1,500. So if they have more than that, they won't qualify. So there you go. You'll need to restructure some of these assets. Cash value, yeah. They look at the cash value. Yeah. Yeah, they look at a burial plan that's more than $1,500. So, anyways, we get all this information. We're gonna work with you guys and tell you, hey, let's set it up this way so we can get them their benefits. Unavailable assets again. The applicant's IRA and pension is not available to Medi-Cal, meaning that they can keep it. Okay. Limited partnerships like buildings, businesses. If there's several owners, it's unavailable. Notes are unavailable. You guys remember the SPIAs? Did you guys sell SPIAs?
Yeah.
Okay. Back in 2004, SPIAs was a big time in putting plans together for this, because they had assets. All you had to do was convert that into SPIA with, at that time, ELCO, Standard Life of Indiana was good. They had these things called Medi-Cal friendly annuities. So you convert that into a SPIA, it only paid out $10 of the principal and interest. That amount would be counted as income at that time, not the whole thing. So that's that was one way of getting Medi-Cal in place, was converting the assets into a SPIA. So Medi-Cal countable assets, if they had a rental, that's countable, okay? CDs, stocks, checking accounts, savings, money market, all these are all countable above the 150,000. Okay, I'm sorry, 130,000 if you're single. So if you sold them an annuity back then, this right here, and now they're going into a nursing home, they count that. Okay, so what can you do with this?
What?
Yeah, reposition that, surrender it. Yeah, it's going to cost some money to surrender it, but what are you saving? You're saving them $12,000 a month. So if they surrendered it, let's say it cost $20,000 to surrender it, you let the family know, hey, is it worth surrendering it, or do you want to keep paying the nursing home $12,000 a month? When are you going to catch up? Okay. So when we do Medi-Cal, this today is what a single person can keep and get on Medi-Cal long-term care.
So who are entitled to medical benefits?
Anybody that's 65 and over
Don't have to
that's
be
needing
medical.
care in a nursing home.
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The deferred annuities, can they, instead of surrendering, can they put it in a revocable trust?
No, because remember, let's say you did the annuity. It's your annuity. It's your Social Security. What we got to show is the irrevocable trust has its own Social Security. It's called the EIN number. So yeah, you would have to surrender. You can't transfer it from your Social Security to another Social Security. It has to be liquidated. Once liquidated, then we gift it out properly, according to what Medi-Cal says we can do. We have to show Medi-Cal how we did it. Okay? Yeah, so you can't just roll it over or transfer it, no. If you're married, this is what the spouse at home can keep now. It's called the Community Spousal Resource Allowance. Okay? So a total, if you're married and one of you guys are in a nursing home, this is what you can keep total. The one that's in the nursing home, this is what they get each month for their personal needs. It's kind of a joke, but that's what Medi-Cal says you can have to.
$35 a day?
No,
Is
no,
that a
that's
day
what it
or a
is.
month?
Yeah.
Month?
A month?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's Happy Meal.
It takes care of your hair once a month.
It's less.
Are you kidding? It's
No,
200
that's
a month.
that's the rule.
100.
Yeah, that's yeah. If you look it up, the minimum monthly maintenance needs allowance. That's what the spouse at home can keep from their total income. Okay, $3,715.50 to break it down. So if the husband's in the nursing home, that's what the wife can keep right here from their income. Okay. Now, if we're trying to gift out to qualify, you guys, let's say that somebody had $1 million and we're trying to gift it out to qualify for Medi-Cal tomorrow, we can gift out $10,933 every day. Okay, so they can write these gifts with a check, go backwards.
Retro.
Yeah, retro. But that's the rule that Medi-Cal wants to see if you're trying to qualify somebody that has way too much assets.
A day?
That's why they
Yeah, a day. Yeah.
Too much.
So on that note, when you're writing checks for $10,000 and above, what happens at the bank?
They're gonna send you.
You get a red flag.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because they're gonna look at money laundering and everything else of that nature, so I had banks actually decline to say, hey, no, we're not gonna accept this, because they didn't wanna take that risk with, depending on the client who's actually
We know
doing
what
it.
to do with
I guess the
it.
client
Under
had
the
some
bank.
bad history before, and they said, no, we will not do this with her. So, just keep that in mind as well, $10,000 every check, and you're just, here, I wanna submit all these checks into there, they're gonna kinda question it, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you already have the answer.
Yeah, once if they question it, we let them know this is what they're doing.
Okay.
Okay? We're not trying to hide anything. Because we don't lie, we don't hide anything to Medi-Cal. We're gonna show them exactly how we did it. Because they're gonna ask you, how did you transfer these assets? Yeah. I had a case in San Jose. They got denied 5 times. and I kept trying to get them qualified. So on the 5th time, I finally shot them their own rules. I said, look, here's your own rules. Why are you guys disqualifying this client? So they sent it to the higher ups, and they didn't want to go to court because it would cost them money to go to court with me to show them, hey, this is your own rules. So they finally said, you know what, on the 5th time we see it, sorry, they're qualified. Okay?
But I have another
Yeah.
So the resource allowance for medical cannot be over 130,000.
Right. For the one that's going into a nursing home.
So anybody that's below that can qualify.
Yeah, if they're in a nursing home, they can qualify. Last year it was 2,000. They brought it up to 130,000 now.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna break California somehow, but yeah.
So that comes.
Yeah, so paying for skilled nursing facilities, how are you gonna pay for it? Yeah, Medicare 100 days, if approved, they still gotta approve it. If they bought long-term care, which a lot of people don't have, right? But I know, any of you guys sell long-term care insurance? Nobody? Okay, yeah. Used to be the thing, but now it's so hard to trigger now. Family assets, they'll use their savings to pay for it, or you can set it up so that Medi-Cal pays for it, okay? And basically, we usually go over this life cycle, yeah, when you're 1 through 25, it's education, 25 to 65, you accumulate wealth. Then you retire at 65 or whatever. You want to preserve and protect everything that you have, okay? And Medicare, yeah, it's Part A, Part B. You guys know all about that. And like Matt talked about, the distribution phase, living trust to avoid probate. So what's the biggest issue that our seniors have today? Is this right here, retirement. What's gonna kill them? What's gonna really affect them? Yeah, it's this right here, Medicare, Medi-Cal, Medicare. How are we gonna pay for our care? Because, well, one out of one, everybody's gonna pass. That's the distribution phase. But the big issue here is seniors face today is the long-term care issues. How are we gonna pay for long-term care when we need it? Okay. Doesn't matter how much savings they got, they're gonna go through their assets pretty quick. Yeah, the one that go ahead.
Sorry.
No, ask the questions while we're at it. I can.
The 130,000.
Yeah.
They go to the RCS.
Or,
Do they have? Can they keep that 130,000 and then the medical will help them pay for the long term?
no, we're talking about SNFs. So when you say RCFE, you're talking about a 6-bed or assisted living? Yes and no. I'm gonna confuse you on this one. So that's a good question. So this is just for nursing home custodial care, what we're talking about. To answer your question, yes. There's some assisted living and boarding cares, and Angel will confirm to this. It's called ALWP, Assisted Living Waiver Program, okay? So we can restructure the assets for you to qualify for Medi-Cal, but some of these assisted living have a waiver program for assisted living, waiver program for Medi-Cal to cover. Did you guys have any of that in your facility?
We did it.
Okay.
There's a few that do it.
Yeah, there's a few assisted livings in LA, all over Southern California, that participates with that. Because yeah, that's important because hey, you have a family that says, hey, we wanna get on Medi-Cal, but we don't wanna be paying $6,000 a month at this assisted living. Well, there you go. They have to be on Medi-Cal first, then you find them a ALWP program at assisted living. If they have room there, they can go there, and now Medi-Cal's paying for their bill. Okay?
But somebody has to be in a facility instead of being taken care of in the private.
That's long-term.
No,
care.
a private home, some of them have ALWP. So yeah, if you get them on Medi-Cal, then yeah, Medi-Cal would pick that up at a private home. Or CFE, Residential Care Facility for the Elderly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or in their own house.
No, not their own home, yeah. It has to be a boarding care, assisted living, or nursing home. But most is nursing home, because there's not too many assisted living or boarding cares that have the waiver program. Okay? You guys understand her question, you guys? No? So, she was asking, is this only for nursing homes? And I said, no, it'll cover boarding care, assisted living, if they have that program, a room for that. There's only a few that have that program. But a nursing home, it's automatic. We can get Medi-Cal to pay for it.
So in the house is not an option?
No.
They have to be out of their house?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, home care is all private pay. It's gonna come out of their pocket. Okay? So we're gonna pick on Kaiser because I used to work for Kaiser. Patient will go there, Kaiser's gonna discharge them. Where are they gonna go? They're gonna send them home. Is one option. The other option is send them to a boarding care or assisted living facility. And yes, this is about how much, I know Angel's facility was costing what? Maybe $10,000 a month over there, Angel?
More. In LA?
Yeah.
12 to 15.
Yeah. Where were you, where you could see what's that island out there?
Catalina,
Yeah. What facility was that one?
that was Belmont Village of Rancho Palos Verdes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember over there, how much was it costing one client?
12.
Like 20,000?
16 to 22.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of these guys can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops.
There are also residential facilities that they do a la carte services, like if the resident needs this, they
Yeah.
pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are usually the assisted livings.
Assisted living.
Yeah. If they can't get up to go to the dining room,
Yeah.
they'll charge for the meals to come up. How much were you guys charging for the meals to be sent?
$10 a meal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
It's expensive.
Para makita nila.
Ron.
I'd just like to share, because
Yeah.
in California you have Medi-Cal, right?
Yeah.
In Nevada you have Medicaid. In Nevada, the home care is paid through Medicaid. I guess it's different here in
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wanna make sure.
Medicaid. Medicaid.
So for here it's paid through who? I thought it's Medicare only?
What?
Like what he mentioned.
Home
So
care?
home care is paid through private only?
Private only.
Or Medicare?
Private
100
only,
days?
yeah.
Have it here.
Okay.
Yeah. They send home health, and correct me on this one because she's a home health nurse.
Yeah.
They'll send home health, and Medicare picks that up for at least 3 weeks, right?
If there is an order for home health services,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, we do, and
But
then
it's only a visit.
and it's
for
also
hours.
depends on the skill need.
Yeah, it's only a visit, basically. Yeah.
Yep. Only a visit.
Other than that,
Wala.
1 hour visit,
Wow.
you're,
Yeah.
you're on your own with your mom,
Right.
taking care of her. Yeah.
Right.
So that's private pay. The last place